I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for this movie. I think it's mostly because they keep hinting about how they're going back to form, how they're basically going to be going back to the root of what these movies are all about and what made them so special, especially with the first Jurassic movie. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. So raged the creature in Marley Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein, but the line also applies to one of the classical resurrection stories, modern descendants, Jurassic Park. I can't really read right now. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Anyways, in the latest film in the colossal blockbuster franchise Jurassic World Rebirth, inhabitants of that world are unlike not unlike moviegoers today. People have seen dinosaurs a lot over the years. They've seen them revived from extinction, they've seen them get loose and run amok. They've seen them so often that awe has been replaced by a shrug. Dinosaurs are no longer inspired love. So, producer Frank Marshall and Steven Spielberg, who astonished audiences with groundbreaking visual effects of the 1993 original, felt that the rebirth should lean into causing fear. After completing two trilogies of films, which collectively generated billions of dollars at the global box office, they believed a seventh film would have to escalate the risk to new levels. I've always said that visual effects are great. CGI is a great tool, but it makes you lazy because you know you can't because you know you can do anything. Marshall tells Vanity Fair for the exclusive early look, it's got to be dangerous. And I certainly agree with that. I certainly agree that a lot of films now, especially the Jurassic, movies, especially the trilogy Jurassic World, which I love the first one. The first one was pretty good. It wasn't like the greatest thing ever, but it was a good movie, a first good movie in a new trilogy. But the last two, I didn't even see the last one, to be honest, just because of the reviews that I heard about it. But I know that, like a lot of movies, blockbuster movies, like Lucasfilm, Marvel Studios, they've relied so heavily on the CGI that it almost becomes unrealistic. You get so taken back, and it takes you out of the experience of what they're trying to show you, and follow the story. That this is just a bunch of half-assed, CGI, that you just feels like it wasn't really taken care of. There wasn't love given it to it, and I, and I'm hoping that with this new film that it goes back to that original way of thinking that less is always more. CGI is not your end all be all use of you know making sure everything looks amazing. CGI is a tool to enhance what's already there. It's a thing to blend in the real world with the imaginative world. It's a way to kind of hide those, details that might take you out of it and enhance the world around you. When you film something outside in the sunlight where it's real, you can touch, you can see there's an actual person walking in that, let's say a field of grass, um with the wind, passing by you, your hair is flowing because of the wind, the sun is shining on your skin, you can see that translucent, uh this translucentness in your skin or your ears, it's a real world. And then let's say you add like maybe a special effect of a X-wing flying by in the air. That's sort of what I'm talking about, like adding details of like CGI elements to a real world. is very important, and I feel like it gets way too overdone with having characters in green screens or blue screens or fucking even the whatchamacallit, the Disney little circle thing. I forgot what it's called, but it's used in The Mandalorian. In a new place, you don't always know what's around the corner. You got a different jungle. You got more water. You got higher cliffs, Marshall says. There's a little bit of everything that's scary. Add to that a new array of creatures literally engineered to trigger fight or flight. Interesting. So we're gonna have more genetically engineered dinosaurs. Interesting. I wonder what this story is all about. I wonder if it even takes place in the same Jurassic World universe that we have established from the trilogy a few years ago, or is this a whole new story, or it's maybe doing that thing where where they're kind of retconning the three recent films and just kind of starting off a new story from the original trilogy and just kind of taking the story from Jurassic Part 3 and onward and just kind of ignoring the latest trilogy, which I wouldn't mind if they did that. I wouldn't be bothered. The story, okay, so let's highlight this. The story follows members of a recovery team led by Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali and Jonathan Bailey as they venture to an island near the equator that was once home to the first Jurassic Park's research lab. Okay, so they are hinting at the original Jurassic Park movie. The squad is trying to retrieve genetic material that could lead to a medical breakthrough for humanity. But 3 decades later, the mistakes made at the ruined facility have not gone away. They've endured and only grown bigger. These are the dinosaurs that didn't work. There's some mutations in there, Marshall says. They're all based on real dinosaur research, but they look a little different. Okay. So it looks like they're kind of, I'm assuming, not that they have confirmed that they're retconning the newest, the recent trilogy, but they are kind of basically putting that to the side and not even focusing on that, not even acknowledging the characters, not even playing any hints to it, as far as I'm concerned. But they're mostly picking, like, kind of like shooting off from the original trilogy, especially from the first movie, and kind of creating the story where humanity is maybe on the, you know humanity, we're always in the research to find new cures for diseases, breakthroughs in medicine and stuff like that. So I kind of like that there's a mission in terms of like trying to find sort of genetic material that could help humanity's search for cures, for diseases, cancers, all that stuff. It makes for a compelling sort of story instead of the whole, run of the mill, like, hey, we're going to this fancy new park with dinosaurs and they escape and all that stuff, which we've seen already, I feel like, a million times. Obviously, not a million times, but we've seen it before and we kind of get the gist of it. And then with the last two films, you know, governments coming in to try to take the dinosaurs, use them as weapons, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff that you kind of see, you've seen a million times in other mediums, not just dinosaurs, but all sorts of other types of movies that kind of have this, this trope of like the government coming to like get this new awesome new tech or new animal and use them as weapons, blah, blah, blah. So I like this kind of angle that they're going with Jurassic World Rebirth. That it's more of a mission to try to like find some cure for humanity, and or trying to find ways to use dinosaur DNA because of the genetic material. Maybe they have mutations that humanity can use to replicate and maybe cure some diseases. And I like that the mutations that they're talking about, they weren't genetically engineered to be those, monsters, but they sort of the dinosaurs that were, the first batch of dinosaurs that they had cloned, that they had tried to make from that one DNA from the frog that, you mix in with the DNA from that was extracted from the, what was it, from a fly or something like that? Man, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but that was trapped in the embryo, in the ember, in the amber, if I'm saying that. But that there was a first batch of dinosaurs that were, that just didn't work out so well, and they didn't kill them. They kind of still kept them. They released them out in the in the wild and stuff, and those batch of like bad dinosaurs, mutated because of like their habitats or their environments. Also, you would say, well, mutations like that, they probably take millions of years for um to manifest, evolution, stuff like that. But considering that these are clones and these are not actual natural dinosaurs, that have naturally evolved, you would assume that there were some mutations of the cloning process that kind of had genetic markers that could manifest way more differently than a natural evolution of animals, So it's kind of cool to kind of go through this route, that it's not so much human tampering, it's just a natural progression of these, you know, clone dinosaurs that, they just have some bad genetic material in them. Continuing on, imagine the nightmare version of the giant lizards that evolved naturally millions of years ago. Rebirth director Gareth Edwards, best known for the 2016 Star Wars tale Rogue One and 2023's AI dystopia The Creator, which was an awesome movie, highly recommended, drew upon classics that have curdled blood for generations. When you make a creature, you get a big, massive pot and you pour in your favorite monsters from other films and books, he says. The filmmaker's beastly bona fides are already well established. He made his breakthrough with 2010's Monsters, about invasive alien titans who fall to Earth, and followed that up by tackling the granddaddy of globe-threatening kaiju with 2014's Godzilla. Adding to his Rebirth dinosaur inspiration were a few other favorites: the skeletal xenomorph from Alien, the dungeon behemoth from Return of the Jedi, and the original big bad from Spielberg's first Jurassic Park movie. Those references turned up all in one particular twisted dinosaur that turns up in the trailer coming Wednesday. Okay, so there's a trailer coming tomorrow. Fantastic. Some Rancor went in there. Some HR Geiger went in there. A little T-Rex went in there, Edward says. So that's pretty cool. And I kind of forgot that the director of Rogue One and the creator, Gareth Edwards, was actually directing this movie. I haven't heard so much about this movie. I haven't heard a lot about this movie in a while, so I kind of forgot about this movie, that it was even coming out. I've been, caught up with like Fantastic Four, Superman, news about this and that I kind of forgot about Jurassic World Rebirth. But I'm so happy that, it's Gareth Edwards directing this movie. That's actually pretty exciting. I'm actually more excited more than ever. He's one of my favorite directors just because the use of his practical effects with CGI, how he puts those together. Jesus Christ. The movie The Creator was made on a budget of, what was it, 40 to 80 million dollars? And it looks like a 200 plus $1 million movie, which, my God, I mean, if you look at the behind the scenes, the camera that he used was a Sony camera that you could buy at Best Buy. And he made all these fantastic shots with it. Made an amazing movie with some good storytelling, original ideas. Granted, the AI robots, obviously that's not original, but the story itself is original. It's not based off of anything that has existed. It's not based off of any movies, comic books, novels, whatever. It's a combination of things that we have already seen, but made into a new original movie with original characters and so on. And so I'm excited that Gareth Edwards is actually bringing his own perspective, his take on the Jurassic World universe. And I feel with his help, he could definitely uplift this movie to a new level that we haven't seen Jurassic Park be in such a while. So it might be a movie that kind of brings this movie to a new level that we kind of hoped the other trilogy might have been, with the talks of in this article bringing back the horror, bringing the element of scare, having these dinosaurs be dinosaurs, and literally maybe we get some close enough rated R scenes where we see them like literally tear humans apart in a very vicious and real way, like a raw, just you see the pain, you see emotion, you see the scare in people's faces, the nervousness, the fear that they're about to die. And so it would be so awesome if we got to see something like that in this movie. And I feel like we might get that. I feel like putting the trust in Gareth Edwards to direct this movie, I feel like they see what he's capable of. And I know that if the budget, I don't know what the budget is on this movie, but if it's definitely less than 100 million, which I feel like you can definitely do, he can make a lot of nice revenue for this movie. And it benefits the studios to know that they have a guy like Gareth Edwards who can utilize the most simplest tools with a lot of, great effect, like not doing too much, doing less, and, giving out more. I know there's a phrase for this, but I think anybody knows what I'm talking about, knows what I'm talking about. And I feel like we might get a genuine Jurassic Park where it feels real, it looks real. It's not so like in your face, the CGI, where you just kind of get taken out of it. You kind of just believe it. You believe it's there. You believe that you're there. You believe these creatures are real. You believe these characters are going through some shit. And it's just not some like Hollywood throw popcorn in your face and just kind of like, oh, what? Okay, it was just a nice, good old CGI movie fest of dinosaurs and humans being so stupid. Which, granted, you probably have some sort of level to that. I mean, it's a Jurassic Park movie. It's not a fucking like Oscar movie where you have to have the best acting in the world. But come on, you can always do more. You can always do better. You can always make the best movie possible and not just fucking bullshit and half-ass it like sometimes they tend to do. Like, a Jurassic Park movie can be... This movie can be the greatest thing that's ever been made. It can definitely be. It can go so hard when it didn't have to go hard. It can give us everything that we want. And it can be praised. And it can be, my God, like, it was the thing that I didn't think I needed, but my God, it's here. And it's like, I want 3 more movies of this. And it's like, you just never know. But continuing, the thing that scared Edwards the most was living up to Rebirth's predecessor, which he feels has been disguised as family-friendly fare over the years. Jurassic Park. This is what I'm talking about. The thing that scared Edwards the most was living up to Rebirth's predecessor, which he feels has been disguised as family-friendly fare over the years. You see, like a kids movie with families that can go and just get a nice little scare. But Jurassic Park is a horror film in the witness protection program. Edwards adds, most people don't think of it like that. We all went to see it as kids, but I was scared shitless, to be honest. When I was at the cinema watching the T Rex attack, it's one of the most well directed scenes in cinema history. So the bar is really high to come on board. The bar is really high to come on board and try to do this. Which I agree, you know? A lot of these movies, like these horror movies that we kind of grew up on, um, they're being remade or rebooted or this or that, and then they just have this sort of like family friendly gloss over them, like this sort of filter over them. And it's just, you don't believe it's kind of like a turnoff, and you just feel like they're just making a movie for everyone to go see. Or like, bring your kids, bring your grandma or this or that, like have a good old time, like a happy friendly adventure where it's just like a happy ending and stuff like that. Like, no, sometimes you need a movie that scares the shit out of you, like actually scares the shit out of you, and maybe it doesn't have a happy ending. Maybe there is no happy ending, and that's okay. It makes a way more compelling story. But it has a beginning, middle, and end. It has a story in itself, and it's not a story that just like kind of half finishes and it just has a. It's like, oh, you gotta watch the next one to get the whole story. It's like, no, you can have a trilogy where you get the whole story, but in each movie it's its own actual movie with its own story, its own plot, with characters that are for that story. And then there's like, maybe you have a backstory behind that where like there is a grander story that's being told as well, you know, where like the world is being threatened by this, and to get, it's important to get the genetic samples off of these specific dinosaurs because they could bring about the end of our extinction as humanity and stuff like that. And there's like a story like that's also cool, and that's not a problem. But I think I'm going way off track, but it's okay to have movies that just are maybe for a specific audience. They don't have to be for everyone. But the important thing is that you make them at a reasonable budget, and you don't fucking just shoehorn in all these crazy budgets of like with so much CGI and stuff like that. Use your budget wisely. Use it appropriately for these specific things so you can highlight the best moments. But the number one thing that's always important is the story. The story has to be 10 out of 10. You have to make the best story possible. Because without a good story with good character development, you have nothing. No matter how great the CGI, no matter how amazing the shots are, if the story sucks, if you can't connect with the characters, then it's pointless. It means nothing. And you basically have I don't know, what can I associate it with? Like a Transformers Michael Bay movie that just looks so pretty and sexy with all the animations and CGI Transformers transforming, that you're like, yeah, it looks cool, but it's soulless. It means nothing to me. Like, I won't rewatch it. I won't go back and spend more money to go to the theaters and watch it again. It's a one and done, and that's not what you want. So hopefully with Rebirth, with this movie, um, it definitely steps up the quality in terms of the characters and the story. Um, Continuing on, screenwriter David Cope, who adapted the late Michael Crichton's 1990 novel for the first movie, has gone back to the original source material to pull out a scene for the new movie that he had always hoped to use. Marshall has revealed that it's a sequence in which Dr. Grant and the two children, who are not characters in this new movie, attempt to drift through a lagoon in a rubber raft without waking a slumbering Tyrannosaurus Rex. Ooh, okay. They don't succeed and end up paddling for their lives. The Tyrannosaur was now chest deep in the water, but it could hold its big head up high above the surface, Crichton wrote. Then Grant realized the animal wasn't swimming, it was walking, because moments later only the very top of the head, the eyes, and nostrils protruded above the surface. By then it looked like a crocodile, and it swam like a crocodile, swinging its big tail back and forth so the water churned behind it. Damn. Now imagine seeing something like that in a Jurassic Park. That would be so fucking scary. So scary. That is what you would want. That's what you expect. You want those moments, those moments of like, it's like simple, quiet, but it's like you see this ginormous creature just following you. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You get zoned into that moment once they do it right, that you believe that you get nervous, your hands are sweating, you're kind of just like, you're hoping that these characters make it out. You know that there's always a possibility that maybe one of them might get eaten. But that's the suspense that gets built up. The suspense of what if? What if they don't make it out? What if they kill them? What if the T-Rex actually kills these characters? Man, I'm really hoping that some version of that scene is actually in the new movie. But man, reading more of this article with Vanity Fair really gets me excited. I'm really thinking that they might actually do something really cool. This is a picture of Mahershala Ali in a still from the movie Rebirth, I'm assuming, right? Mahershala Ali as Duncan Kincaid, a logistics expert who helps Johansson's team gain access to danger zones, usually war-torn areas. Okay, so this is someone obviously who has experience in getting people into dangerous situations, so they, I'm assuming, go to him and hire him for his expertise in getting into dangerous, sensitive areas. And so I guess he's going to come along the team and help them gain access into the island, probably. Let's see here. The final ingredient for the new film's terror factor, Edwards says, is supplied by the audience. The enduring instinctual fear of being chased and devoured. There's something very primal that's buried deep inside everybody, he says. As mammals, we evolved with this fear of the bigger animal that's going to come one day and maybe kill us or our family. The second we see it happening on screen, you're like, I knew it. We had it too good for too long. Damn. Let's see. Complacency was the biggest risk for early humans, Marshall credits Cope, who returns to the Jurassic film franchise for the first time since 1997's sequel, The Lost World, for introducing the notion to Rebirth. He came up with the idea that dinosaurs were passé now. People were tired of them. They were an inconvenience. Marshall says. People weren't going to museums to see them or to petting zoos. They were just in the way, and the climate was not conducive to their survival. They were staring to pass away and get sick, but there was one area around the equator that had the perfect climate and temperature and environment for them. That leads to a shot in Rebirth that evokes an iconic image from the first Jurassic Park when the T-Rex rips through the visitor center, battles some velociraptors, and roars as it topples a streaming sign that reads, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth." In the new film, a similar image appears in the opening, but in a less majestic way. Well, the banner's coming down again, Marshall says. Johnny Bailey's a scientist at a museum that's closing up their dinosaurs exhibit. Johnny Bailey's a scientist at a museum that's closing on. Okay. Those who turn their backs on dinosaurs will live to regret it through probably not for long. Monster movies are only frightening if audiences care about the people in peril. Jurassic World Rebirth serves up a trio of central characters played by Johansson, Ali, and Bailey, who have genuinely altruistic mission and skills that might help them survive long enough to complete it. A company that Rupert Friend's character represents discovers a way to cure heart disease, Marshall says, but you need the DNA from the 3 largest dinosaurs on land, sea, and air. Those 3 dinosaurs exist on this island where they were first created, but it's a no-go zone. Wow, okay. So it's definitely a mission to try to cure heart disease. Johansson leads the quest as Zora Bennett, the leader of the team doing the recovery. She's someone she's a special operative. She was in the armed forces for the entirety of her career. She probably worked for a private contractor for some time, and now she's working for herself. Johansson says the actor has wanted to face down dinosaurs ever since she was a child and became obsessed with the first movie. I was really crazy about the film, and I slept in a Jurassic Park pub tent in my bedroom I shared with my sister for a year, she says. Anytime the trades would report a new Jurassic movie, I would forward to my agents like, "Hey, I'm available." So it's always been her dream to be in a Jurassic Park movie. Awesome. I mean, I love Scarlett Johansson. If directed right, she is an amazing character, an amazing actress that can definitely, she can definitely make you believe, and really, if like I said, directed right, she could could be amazing. The closest Johansson came was in 2020 when her work on reshoots for a Marvel movie took place on a British soundstage neighboring that of Jurassic World Dominion. I was actually shooting Black Widow at Pinewood at the same time. I was like, show me the sets. I want to participate. Only later, when she had general meeting with Spielberg to go over possible future projects, did her dinosaur dream come true. Cool. I hadn't really sat with him and talked about work, and we spent hours just catching up and chatting, and then at some point, many hours into it, he was like, "Wait, we're supposed to talk about Jurassic. Do I hear you're a huge super fan?" I said, "It's actually true. I'm confirming I'm a huge super fan." She didn't tell him about the tent. I was like, he's going to think I'm this weird stalker. I mean, no one actually would think that. Now she regrets that. Johansson has had a lot of good memories of little girls dressed as Natasha Romanoff. Obviously, with all the Avengers stuff, you meet so many fans who are profoundly moved by the characters and the world that you're a part of, she says. I get it. It's always wonderful to meet people like that. I probably should have just told them, but I was like, just be professional. Don't seem desperate. Don't mention the tent. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I actually get a shot of the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth from the actual stamps. They're really going back to the original. How long? Jesus Christ, this is a long... Okay, I'm going to make this real quick. I didn't think this was a fucking long-ass article. Okay. Hopefully you guys appreciate this readout of this article. Hopefully it's not fucking boring, but whatever. See what happens. About a month after that, Johansson had co-op script and was proposing her own touches for the character. I just wanted to understand what the stakes were for her, and that she wasn't just driven by money or power. You wanted it to feel personal for her, she says. You have to love the characters and you want to root for them. The movie can't just stand on the dinosaurs alone. Zora evolved to be less of a mercenary. She's someone who dedicated herself to saving other people, and I think she's at a professional crossroads. I think she's burnt out, Johansson says. If all goes well, this can be the job that allows the character to retire from danger zones. Of course, anything goes wrong, but that's the fun part, she says. As it charts a new course for the franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth also promises some other callbacks to the original's Jurassic Park. Bailey hints that his paleontologist, Dr. Henry Loomis, had a history with Sam Neill's intrepid character. I've always wanted to make Dr. Alan Grant proud, the actor says. You'll have to wait and see to see what sort of link there is between them. I bet you they're brothers or something like that, or maybe they're related, like cousins probably, or maybe this guy's Dr. Alan Grant's son. I don't know. You never know. His professional hero is a contrast to Bailey's recent breakthrough role as Pharaoh in Wicked, a less than intellectual character who scoffs at the library and kicks books aside in his signature song, Dancing Through Life. Dr. Loomis would be aghast. Bailey says that his rebirth character reinforces big cerebral and emotional arguments about the natural world and how we as humans live our lives. Okay. Getting a little deep with the emotional humanity problem. I like that. Unlike the others, he's not combat ready, however, which places him at extra risk on the island of misfit dinosaurs. He may be a little too fascinated by them and not guarded enough as he guides the team toward harvesting the dinosaurs' genetic material. His strengths are his compassion and enthusiasm and hunger for the natural world, Bailey says. That's his brilliance, and that's also his downfall. Speaking of extracting DNA, the new film does this with Spielberg himself, who serves as an executive producer on Rebirth. To me, it's like a heist movie that meets all the films of Steven Spielberg I loved growing up, Edward says. The three films we were orbiting were Jaws, Indiana Jones, and the awe and wonder of the original Jurassic. I like that. Oh, wow, you can see that I don't know what the Tyrannosaurus Rex with the Spinosaurus. Are these like the Spinosaurus? No, these are obviously aquatic creatures. Obviously, they're in the ocean. They'd be drowning if the Spinosaurus were in the water. They don't know how to swim. That I know of. You can see this big old, I'm assuming it's a megalodon. And these are definitely some sort of aquatic dinosaurs. They're just swimming about, just living their lives. Just nonchalant. Bailey's character channels Dr. Jones in one sequence set on a towering cliff when he tries to extract fluid from the eggs of some flying dinosaurs who are said to be the size of fighter jets. The egg is about the same size as a golden idol from the opening sequence of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was the first of many movies Marshall made with Spielberg. The original script just referenced the nest in a cliff, and I really felt like we were in Central America. And I like the idea that there was an old civilization here at one point, Edward said. Instead of a cave, he made the setting in an Inca-style old temple that had been abandoned hundreds of thousands of years ago. Inevitably, the second you do that, you're suddenly going, this is very Indiana Jones. Okay, I like that. I like the adventure aspect of it's like you're a kid, you always hunger for that fantasy adventure like in the movies and to discover ancient artifacts and relics that might hold power or something like that. Bailey points out that the relationship between the three leads mirrors another monstrous Spielberg classic about a killer shark. Much like in Jaws, you see how three people react to the same extreme level of survival, he says. His Dr. Loomis is like Richard Dreyfus. Bookish oceanographer Johansson is the battle-hardened leader like Roy Schilder's police chief Martin Brody. And Allie Duncan's Kincaid, a Black Ops logistics expert who shepherds them into the island, has elements of Robert Charles Grizzle's seafarer quaint. This is... come on. That is his impression, but I appreciate Johnny's observation, Ali says. He's a film buff, a movie head, and he's always looking for the connections and pulling things apart and discussing them. Ali may not have necessarily had Shaw's antagonistic anti-hero in his head during the performance, but there are undeniable parallels. Each has a hardened exterior while being somewhat wrecked inside. Kincaid is a guy who, at this point in his life, has chosen to live off the grid, Ali says. He's in Suriname, but he's somebody who has been a good friend of Zora's and is always willing to help out when she needs something handled covertly. He's a good-spirited guy, but he's definitely been through some tragedy in his life. All in all, he's learned to live with wounds, and he's making the best of the life that he has. Okay, so this is definitely... Jonathan Bailey prepares to extract material from a dinosaur egg as a paleontologist, Dr. Henry Loomis. Okay, so this is his character, and... Cool. You can see the nervous look. I'm like, what have I done? The mother's gonna come and rip me apart because I'm messing with her babies. Oh my god. I'm almost done, guys. Don't worry. If you've already gone this far into the video, I congratulate you. I love you, and I hope you hit like, comment, subscribe. Tell me I'm doing a good job or something. This is my first video in a very long time, so hopefully you guys appreciate this readout of this Vanity Fair article. The key to making a memorable human in a big budget visual effects heavy escapism is finding something intimate to put on screen alongside the bravado alley ads. Doing something this big is very new to me, says the 2-time Oscar winner for Moonlight and Green Book. It's a little bit of a test for me personally. Can I exist in a space this large in something that is so much bigger than you and maybe your own specific talents? It's just hard to pull it off. I think the bigger things are, the harder they can be. But there were people in Jaws and in Jurassic Park, in Star Wars, and these huge tentpole films that resonated with authenticity and a certain truth and purpose that made those films worth watching again and again. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like me reading this article just kind of reinforces those things that I was saying earlier in this video about, you just got to be honest and true, and just there has to be a purpose and meaning, and not just make a movie of scary dinosaurs just to make scary dinosaurs and hope that you make $1 billion and whatever, and just like, okay, one and done. Yeah, I made a really successful dumb movie that has some fun and killing, but there was no really any weight to it. There was no soul to it, and I just hate when studios do that. His goal was to make Kincaid lovable to the audience. I was really going into it hoping to bring something special and buoyant to that character, to really bring an energy and heart to him, Ali says. These big blockbuster films, they're not filmed in a way that's necessarily going to set you up to feel all that all the time, because it's hard shooting these action sequences and running from a tennis ball and things for that nature. The worst things get on the island, the more the worst things get on the island, the more relatable Kincaid seems. There comes this opportunity for him to evolve because they're having this life and death experience. There are people around them that are passing away, and that provides some perspective shift. Passing away may be the most elegant euphemism for devoured by giant lizards that has ever been used. It's my polite way of saying that in this kind of movie, people die right, Ali says. There's no draft of the film where everyone survives. damn, it's my polite way of saying that in this kind of a movie, people die, right? Ali says, there's no draft of the film where everyone survives. Damn, is everyone gonna fucking perish and die? Man, is it really gonna have like a sad ending? You know, like how you in Rogue One, another movie that was directed by Gareth Edwards, everyone fucking died. All your heroes that you were following throughout the whole movie, everyone died. And I love that. Obviously, you expected them to die, but the fact that they had the balls to fucking kill them off, all in that same planet, at the end of the movie. And the only characters that you saw at the end were characters that you weren't even following throughout the whole movie. You know, for example, Princess Leia, when she gets handed the Death Star plans, you didn't see her throughout the whole movie, but that was the last person you saw at the end of the movie. Every of the main characters died. Damn, so could they actually kill off everyone here? Could they not actually make it alive? Maybe one person will make it off alive, but maybe they kill off everyone. Damn, that would be some serious balls. That would definitely give you some like sad ending where you're just like, whoa, that was a good movie. Those characters, man, I connected with them. They were they were funny. They were amazing. They had like such good moments. But man, the way they died, it was so sad. I cried. Blah blah blah. All that good stuff. Everything you want in a movie. Man, that would be crazy. Hopefully we get that. Damn, but this is crazy. This is some. This is a long article. Honestly, I was reading this throughout and not expecting. I didn't even look to see how long this was. I just kind of was reading it as I was going. Fuck. Kudos to anybody who followed me through. But yeah, images here of Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, guys. I'm excited for this movie. I can't wait for it to come out. I don't know when it comes out. I think we'll get a date reveal tomorrow when the trailer comes out. Um, I'll see if I do a reaction video to that tomorrow. And yeah, thank you guys for listening through this long ass readout of the article in Vanity Fair. And hopefully, you guys appreciated this long video. Thank you guys for listening in. Have a great day. Stay safe. Later.